In our first method here, the first thing we're going to do is to move the playhead over to the frame which we want to freeze. Now let's come to the inspector panel. Under speed change, let's locate that little snowflake logo, which will initiate freeze frame for us. So let's go ahead and click it. Now you will see that the system has essentially performed a freeze frame for us. Now, a couple interesting things here. First is that for the rest of the original clip, the system has pretty much replaced it with this frame. On top of that, the system has made a cut and created a separate clip that is dedicated solely to the frame which we just froze. As a result of having a standalone freeze frame clip, what we can do now is to pretty much delete it, get rid of it, or we can move it anywhere within our timeline. Or if we switch to the trim edit mode, what we can do is to lengthen it or shorten it without affecting the neighboring clip. Another thing to note is that when we have multiple tracks like this, by default, the system is going to perform freeze frame on the clip that is on the highest track. And in our case, here it's going to be the second track. Now, let's say you don't like this. You don't want this default behavior to take effect. What you could do is to manually select the clip that is underneath it, so which is on the first track, then perform freeze frame. And if we go ahead and disable the second track, now we can see that our system has performed the freeze frame on the clip that is on the lower track. Now, lastly, another thing we can do here is to right-click the clip itself. In the menu, select Change Clip Speed. In the pop-up, if we go ahead and select Freeze Frame, then hit the Change button, you will see that the system has now performed freeze frame the exact same way as how we did it earlier. They both produce a standalone freeze frame clip, which can be deleted or moved around, or lengthened or shortened, and again, exactly like how we did it earlier. In our second example, once again, we're going to move the playhead over to the frame which we want to freeze. Then we're going to right-click the clip. In the menu, select Retime Controls or use keyboard shortcut Command R. This will activate retime controls for our clip here. Then we're going to locate the drop-down button next to 100%. So let's go ahead and click it. And in the menu, let's go ahead and select freeze frame. This will now allow the system to perform freeze frame for us. And once again, a couple interesting things here. The first is that despite the freeze frame, the system now still preserves the rest of the clip for us, as you can see. And on top of that, we don't have a standalone freeze frame anymore. The freeze frame is now embedded in the original clip. But like the first method, we can still easily change the duration of the freeze frame by dragging the upper hand of the speed point here. And also, if we switch to trim edit mode, now what you guys will see is that as we adjust the duration of the freeze frame, either lengthening it or shortening it, the neighboring clip is not going to be affected as a result. So yeah, guys, these are two ways to create freeze frame in DaVinci Resolve. I hope this helps, and I will see you next time.